Oilersnation Everyday with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
Oh my God, Dickinson's back. Murphy's back with the Oilers. Bobby McMahon signed in Seattle. Mackie Samoskevich is a Seattle Kraken. What a weekend. Let's get into it with the lead. I didn't miss anything because I have Florida Panthers muted on Twitter. Like the word is muted, so that's it.
That's a wrap.
I saw Samoskevich went to Seattle, and I said, you know what? I don't want to know what they're going to do with that first-round pick.
It makes you wonder what's next for the Florida Panthers. I also have them muted, so I'm not sure.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Don't let me know, because quite frankly, I don't give a shit.
Come along with us on this journey as we discover who.
Oh my God, they got Brady Tkachuk.
Holy shit.
Jesus.
You're telling me the guy who's basically been doing a Florida Panthers podcast for a year has wound up with the Florida Panthers.
Damn.
Color me shocked.
That is weird. I did not see that.
There was a.
I thought he loved Ottawa. He said, "I want to win. I believe in this core. I want to win in Ottawa." An American leaving.
April 29th, 2026. How long ago was that? Just under 2 months ago?
Yep.
Headline from NHL.com. Tkachuk committed to Senators, quote, frustrated by rumors of desire to be elsewhere.
Wow, that is weird.
The guy who made 51st state jokes in the locker room?
Yeah.
After winning the gold medal? Doesn't want to play in Canada? No. Come on, guys.
I can't believe it.
Was there a show who predicted that one of the Ontario teams would trade their captain by the end of the calendar year? That was this show.
Oh, I thought it was Wingman.
Well, 2 shows. Listen, it's not all that surprising. It's not. Welcome into the show, by the way. We're live from the Sports Closet studio. You can check them out online at sportscloset.ca. Get a Brady. He's going to wear number 8 for the Panthers, by the way.
Is that what he wore in Florida, in Ottawa?
No, he wore 7. So, new era.
Who wears 7 in... Is that Ekblad? No,
Kulikov, maybe.
I think it is Kulikov.
I think it is Kulikov. Or is he 71? I don't really care. Anyways, the show's a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. How does this one in from Ryan? Let's get to some comments first. How ratty does Florida need to be? Both Tkachuk brothers, Bennett, Marchand. I will say, what would be kind of funny in this whole thing, Liam?
If they... Oh, no one's wore it since Gudas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Number 8 or 7? Oh, 7. Yeah,
7.
That makes sense.
Quite a long line.
It would be kind of funny if these guys go to Florida and they all kind of kick their feet up and go, oh, we're the best team. We can just party at the elbow room and be in the sunshine and all this stuff, and we'll be good. It would be very funny if they're not. And, this is one of the questions. Landon Ferraro is our guest today. I want to ask him, do you think this kind of stuff, if Larkin ends up in Vegas, and let's say Werenski gets moved to another team or something like that, right? Because there is some rumblings about that. Is this good for the sport? And I think where it's potentially good for the sport is if it fails. I think having a common enemy for other fan bases. Nobody, when Florida won their first cup, everyone was kind of just Oilers fans excluded, obviously.
Wasn't happy about it.
We weren't, but hockey fans in general were all right. Cool.
So are you asking, is it good for the sport if these players get traded or if they all go to Florida?
Is it good for the sport that players are forcing their way to certain destinations like this? We're kind of getting into, and the rest of the summer has to break a certain way, but we could be getting into the super team era.
It's player empowerment. That's what they used to call it in the NBA.
Player empowerment era.
Well, it's interesting because I think the player empowerment era in the NBA started off well. And I know people are pointing to LeBron and Bosh.
It started with the Celtics.
But it started with, I was going to say, it started with the Celtics with Garnett, Pierce, and who was the other guy? Ray Allen, thank you.
Guy loves super teams.
Yeah.
Rebound won't go.
Allen,
Bosh, out to Allen.
Bang. Anyway, I think it is good. And I know it's obviously not in favor of the Oilers, but does it not make you wonder as well if McDavid is to sign an extension, do the Oilers become a bigger destination? You know what I mean? I think players are maybe just in a weird spot right now in the sense of I can go to Edmonton, outside players, obviously. Mm-hmm. We'll get into the Dickinson and Murphy stuff soon, who just extended. But do they look at him and be well, I don't want to go there, and then McDavid leaves?
Maybe. I also think this is... I don't think what's drawing players to Florida like winning is definitely a part of it. If they were a bad team, like we saw Florida be a bad team for a decade, and guys weren't lining up to go there. Guys weren't requesting to go to Florida.
Yeah.
So, like, winning is a part of it. I'm not trying to say it's not. Living in the sunshine.
Yep.
I've told this story 100 times on the show, but the day after Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final in 2025, I went to the coffee shop. Sergei Bobrovsky was walking by pushing his baby in a stroller. About 10 hours after winning a Stanley Cup Final game. No one stopped him. No one said anything. He just got his coffee, pushed his stroller on down the beach, and away he went.
Yeah.
Guys like that. I think Matt and Brady Tkachuk are, I think all the guys who go there and want to stay there kind of do it being like, I want the lifestyle. I want the warm weather. I don't want to be cold. I like the travel from, being down there and just jutting up the coast and coming back. There's certain advantages to it. Like that other, like the Oilers at their best can't compete with. State income tax is a part of it too. Like there's just a lot of things. Guys want the lifestyle. They don't want to be in hotbed pressure-filled markets. Because if they did, Brady would have had the Rangers on his list. Also, he had no list. He demanded to go to the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
Steve Stais all but confirmed that today.
Yeah.
But like, if Dylan Larkin wanted that, like I don't think Dylan Larkin actually honestly has Minnesota on his list. I think he might only have said Vegas, and Frank kind of alluded to that today with a tweet where he's like, these things are done to save face for the players, but more often than not, a guy with a full no move gives them one team. And they make it work.
Not Darnell Nurse.
Not Darnell Nurse.
He can't do it. He doesn't have that kind of power.
But, no, he honestly doesn't. But, like, if Dylan Larkin is sitting there saying, I want to go to Vegas, then I have a lot of thoughts about this, man. And it's complicated because there's no, like, straight line, it's bad, I hate it. You don't want to fully villainize the players because on one hand, I recognize that they're humans. And you get one career, you get one life. And if you sit there and say, I want to raise my kids in Vegas, and I want to live in the sunshine, and I want anonymity, and I don't want 90 reporters around me every day and all this stuff, then part of me says, all the power to you. The other part of me goes, are you not taking the easy way out? Like if you're Brady Tkachuk and you're just going to join a super team, it's very similar to the reason Kevin Durant's legacy in the NBA is tarnished. Because it's like, whoa. You had something good going in OKC, and you walked away from it to take the easy path and to join the super team. And I look at Brady, and I say the same thing. I say, hey, you could have forged your own legacy. You could have went and been the captain of the New York Rangers, the captain of your hometown St. Louis Blues, and led them into a new era and tried to win as the leader, as the front runner. You could have looked at all those other good teams in the NHL and said, I want to be the guy that beats them. But instead you said, way more fun to do every episode of Wingmen in person and to live in the sunshine. And as soon as I walk out of the rink, no one gives a shit who I am kind of thing and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And that's a little bit harsh to Panthers fans. I get it. I'm just still a little bit scarred from the fact that the night I was there for Game 7 of the Cup Final, after they won, I walked into the parking lot an hour and a half later, and it was a ghost town. And I'm like, man, if this was Edmonton, it would be buzzing and all that stuff. Like,
yeah, I know. That does suck. And then you see the videos of, like, their parade. It's like one person deep with the fence lines. Oh, God. I think it's interesting. I don't know. Like, I see where you're coming from. I think it becomes a bigger problem in a way if... Let's just say, for example, let's say it's McDavid, and the others go to the conference final this season, and the cup final, whatever it is, and they have a successful season, all that stuff. But then he demands a trade. I think that's when it becomes a problem. The thing that I'm noticing with a lot of these guys who are leaving their teams, and it's no coincidence they're obviously American players, and they're all on the Olympic team. They got the taste of winning, but how many of them were like close to winning? You know what I mean? Like Ottawa, they made the playoffs. They were the 8th seed. I think they were probably a little bit better than that. We were talking off air. Brady was probably their 3rd or 4th best player. Like they didn't lose their best forward. They didn't lose their best defenseman. But you look at Quinn Hughes, and it's like, yeah, I would want to leave Vancouver as well. American or not, that team was going nowhere, and you needed to get out. If Dylan Larkin, I think he is it. Like I know there's the stuff of like, oh, well, look how he's back half of the season. But it's okay, but he's been there for 10 plus years and they've never made the playoffs. Like, I think that's understandable. The Matthew Tkachuk one, obviously Gaudreau left, which is probably the start of this whole thing when you want to look at it. But you look at from Matthew Tkachuk's perspective, it's like, well, our best player just left. Like, maybe I want to try something new. And, like, maybe I'm just looking at it, like, too much on the player side of things. But I think players want to win. And while it is obviously easy for Brady to go to Florida, but like, I liked what you said. It's like, why would you not want to go to Florida? Like, they're a great team. They got great players. Like, Brady Tkachuk now gets to play with Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhart, Sam Bennett, Verhaeghe, who are all 30 or younger. And that's just their forwards.
Yeah. I get it, man. I get it from the player's perspective and all that. There is just also a little part of me that can't help but feel a little bit of like, it's kind of soft. You just want it the easy way. You want to live. You want to pick your city. You want to play with your friends and all of that.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that kind of wishes, not that there's more hatred, but like your attitude should be like, man, fuck those other 31 teams. Like I like.
In a way, yeah. I think hockey. This is the first time I feel like, anyway, whilst I've been kind of dialing on the NHL, it's going this way of loyalty in the NHL is like a big thing for a long time. Like we've always kind of spoke about with McDavid, like when people are like, he's going to leave. It's like, well, who are the superstar players that left? The only one, like before this kind of all started happening. I'm not saying Brady's a superstar by any means. He's obviously a really good player. But like, it was kind of just Don Tavares was the only one who left. And he obviously left at the time, he was top 5 player in the league.
Yeah, pretty close to it.
Pretty close at the very least. And then he goes to Toronto, where kind of funny, it goes the opposite way. Someone finally comes across the border. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Did you think about Tampa Bay and all of this at all when they signed Jake Gensel a couple of years ago? And everyone was like, oh my God, just give Tampa Bay, just give him the cup. It's over. And then they never won. They never made it past the first round with Gensel. And like this team's a little bit different, actually not really. Like
not really.
In the same breath, it's like Tampa won back-to-backs. I think they might have missed the playoffs that year or first round exit, whatever it ended up being. Then they got Gensel. Florida obviously had the injury side of things, but they won their cups. We'll see what happens. They currently do not have a goaltender.
I will say one other thing because someone in the chat pointed this out. Huge haul for the Sens for their 80-point-a-year superstar from Chris. I'm going to stop short of calling Brady Tkachuk overrated, although I really want to. I'm going to read you 2 stat lines. We'll go back through their last 4 years. We're doing blind resume for 2 players, okay?
Can I get my spoons?
Yeah. Player A, this is last season for Player A, 60 games, 22 goals, and 59 points. So 22 goals in 60 games, touch under a point per game.
59 and 60?
Yeah, 59 and 60 with 22 of them being goals. Player B, 52 points in 58 games with 31 of them being goals.
So I guess in the 31 is Brady.
We'll go to there. So I'm going to give you a few years here, right?
Okay.
So player A, this past year, touch under point per game, 22 goals. Player B, touch under point per game, 31 goals. Last year, 27 goals. Player A, 29 goals, 55 points in 72 games. So again, close to 30, played 72 games, under 60 points. The other player, 27 goals in 73 games, 44 points. So less points, more goal, or right around same goals. I think that one actually probably favors player A. Year before that, 54 goals, 23 assists. The other guy was 37. Basically, the point I'm making is Brady Tkachuk gets outproduced every year by like Zach Hyman. Everyone treats Brady Tkachuk like he's a superstar because
his name is Tkachuk.
Because his name is Tkachuk.
Yeah.
And he hits and he fights. And like I get that he brings those intangibles, but like the guy has never scored 40 goals in a season. And he's 26 years old. This is no longer like a 23-year-old who you're like, oh, so much upside. Like, we kind of know what Brady Tkachuk is, and what Brady Tkachuk is a guy who's likely going to be a touch under a point per game every year.
Which is
keep in mind.
Can
I just add on to that? Last year, he had 59 points, 20 of them on the power play. Year before that, 55 points, 23 of them on the power play. In the 1 year where he put up north of a point per game, which was only 83 points in 82 games, I might add. He had 30 of those points on the power play, which, again, you can take that argument with Hyman, too. I'm not saying that. But to have Brady Tkachuk, to have to now pay him like a superstar, to give up 3 first-round picks, one of which is a top 10 pick for Brady Tkachuk, you're giving up a lot for a guy who's probably, again, he'll get power play time next year, but they're going to have a lot of mouths to feed in that Florida top 9, so he might not get as much as he got in Ottawa.
Who's going to come off the power play? I looked at Daily Faceoff. They updated it already, but it's currently as Brady, Barkov, Reinhart, Tkachuk, and Ekblad as their top unit. I don't know who would have been there before. I guess
Bennett, Lundell, Verhaeghe. They'd rotated around. Marchand would have gotten power play time as the net front guy. My point is they gave up a lot here for, again, a really quality good player in Brady Tkachuk. He is not a 100-point guy.
No, he is not.
And he's a winger.
They gave up One less pick than what Minnesota had to give up to get Quinn Hughes.
But Quinn Hughes, like I almost think Vancouver looks better for what they did with the Hughes deal.
No,
they got
I think so too.
Warm bodies.
Yeah, and I think we're all in the assumption Florida might do a little bit more with this.
Mm-hmm.
Although that 9th overall pick for the defenseman that could fall in this draft might be kind of something you'd be into.
Yeah.
But obviously there's some names out there, like, do they want Jason Robinson? Maybe.
All right. Let's do... What should we get to first?
Should we get into the Oilers news?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, we've spent a lot of time on this. I want to get to the Oilers news, which today is going to be brought to you by the River Cree Resort and Casino, home for your great performance. Rock legend David Lee Roth hits River Cree Resort and Casino Friday, July 10th. Get ready for high energy night starting at just $74.99. Very affordable. Don't miss it. Tickets on sale now. rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it. Bet on it.
If you want more on the trade, though, you could come in hot. I listened to their episode. It was really good yesterday. Today's was probably great, too, I would assume.
The Oilers made 2 big signings over the weekend. We speculated about this a little bit on Friday. The first one, I'd say more surprising than the second one, because I thought there was a very real chance that Jason Dickinson was not going to be an Oiler next year, because AFP projections, all of that stuff, had him getting north of $5 million, and I said, you can't pay your third-line center more than $5 million. The Oilers get him on a 5-year deal, granted, but get him for a $4 million AAV, and I'll be honest, pleasantly surprised with this deal. And I've said this line, I'll tap the sign, whatever. Rewire your brains, everybody. This is not the same NHL as the last 3 to 5 years with a flat cap and no one's got money and you can squeeze free agents. Like, your options are, do you want to acquire or sign Jason Dickinson for 5 years at $4 million? Yes, no. If you go, no, way too much money, I'm not signing that guy. All right. Who are you getting to be your third line center next year, Liam?
Szymanski.
Then
he was kind of your best option.
Well, right? Like, now you have fortified down your depth down the middle. You go Connor, you go Leon, you go Dickinson, you go Szymanski. If someone gets hurt, you slide Nuge over. If someone breaks out and is great, maybe you start moving guys up. Like, there's so many things you could do now that you have Dickinson signed. But if you didn't sign him and you said, hey, let's just roll the dice on Szymanski being our 3C and Hudson or Lazar being our 4C, and we'll see how it goes and we'll address it at the deadline. Then you get to the trade deadline and you go, shit, we have to give up a first-round pick to get Jason Dickinson.
Yeah.
Or to get whoever is the next Jason Dickinson. This is a hole that if you don't fill it in the summer, you are going to have to fill it eventually. And I understand the line of thinking of smart organizations don't pay guys like Jason Dickinson this much money. You go find the next version of him, right? Dickinson at one point in his career was a captain from Vancouver. Could you go find another version of Dickinson that doesn't cost you that much, that maybe makes $2.5 million? Like, yeah, you could have, but you know what that's going to cost you? Assets. And let's take a peek here. The Oilers have a second and a third rounder this year. No first, no fourth, no fifth. Next year, no first, no third, no fourth. Next 2 years after that, no second rounder. It's not like this is a team who has 8 picks in the first 2 rounds of the next 3 drafts to sit here and go, we can wait till the deadline and address it then. You have to... They're pigeonholed into fixing things in free agency because of their lack of assets. And I get some people might not like 5-year term. Jason Dickinson is 30 years old. This is not a guy who's 35. This is not re-signing Adam Henrique when he's 34. Jason Dickinson is 30. The idea that he has good hockey in front of him is not an insane thing at all. He helps with the penalty kill. That was a major problem. I think he'll help them not get scored on as much when Connor and Leon are off the ice, which has been a problem for years. I think the people bitching about this contract are just going to bitch. And I'm not a Stan Bowman guy. I am not someone who's been a backup and defend every move he's made. That is not at all what I do. I think the people who are bitching about this just want to bitch about it for the sake of being like, oh, this organization doesn't know what they're doing. This is free agency, man.
Yeah.
Michael McCarron. Do you want me to read you Michael McCarron's stat line from last year?
But he's big. I don't care about his stats. He's big.
Sure. He also, again, if big means you can't skate. Yeah. Last year, and flash up Dickinson for me, if we can flash up the player board on Dickinson. So Dickinson last year, 64 games, 17 points. That's not great.
No.
Michael McCarron played 79 games last year, another 15 games, 8 goals, 9 assists, 17 points. Same number of points in 13 more games. And Michael McCarron, who, by the way, his career high in goals is 12 in a full season. And before this past season, he had 5 goals in 74 games. Jason Dickinson is going to get you better production than that. And Michael McCarron got a 6-year deal at $3.3 million. McCarron's younger, sure, whatever. But like Dickinson has a 20-goal season under his belt at one point, and he's only 1 year removed from that, or 2 years now removed from it, I guess. I don't know. I look at Dickinson and think he fills a very important role for this team, which is the 3C behind Connor and Leon. All the people who are pointing to it going like, this is who the Oilers are signing? They're not done. Stan Bowman didn't come out, give us a press conference and say, we got Murphy and Dickinson, I'm going to the cottage, and I'll see you guys in September. They're going to do something else. These are just checking 2 important boxes.
Yeah, they still have, let's assume Nurse goes as well. Their cap, they'll probably have over close to 16 million still in salary cap, depending on, that's just assuming they would get rid of all of Nurse, which I think is probably not going to happen, but they'll get rid of a lot of it. So upwards of 16 million, let's just say.
Yep.
I don't like the money, but I also understand it's the world we live in now. But I think Dickinson is probably worth more of like a $3 million player for his offense. I worry that, I think he's obviously younger than what Adam Henrique was, and I think he has way more defensive tendencies to his game than Henrique did. But he needs to, I do need more points from him. I can't pay a guy $4 million to get 17 points on a season. And I know I'm not asking for like a 40-goal season. I don't even need 20 goals, to be honest. But like, I think you need at least 10 goals and like 20 assists. Like 30 points has to be a bit of a minimum here. And I think Edmonton is obviously a much more offensive team than what Chicago have been, of course. I think it's good that he's back. He obviously was supposed to come in and be a penalty-killing guy for the Oilers. That penalty kill from when Dickinson and Connor Murphy came was 10th in the NHL from March 6 onwards. We saw what he did in the playoffs where, what did he play, 4 games, 2 or 3 goals, bunch of assists, whatever it was. He played really well. I'm fine with the deal due to the understanding of your options on the market. He was going to get, if you were good to market, you needed a 3C, you were paying $5 million plus for a guy.
Teams would have given him $5 million, yeah.
So you got the guy, and that's good. I just need a bit more offense, but he balances it out well defensively. The Oilers still need a top 6 player, though. Because if their third line next season is going to be, let's just say it's Nuge, Dickinson, Frederik, for the sake of conversation. Your top 6 can't have Ike Howard and Podkolzin playing there every single night. And Savoy, sorry. I just think you need one more player. And maybe you can push Frederik down. You have a bit more depth there as well. Savoy can go down, Podkolzin can go down. Whatever you want to do. That's what I kind of think of it. I saw the deal, was fine with it, glad it wasn't 5.
So the next year, 26-27, the year we're heading into, the cap's $104 million. Dickinson is taking up 3.9% of your cap space at that point. In 2024-25, so we'll go back 2 years, this is the equivalent of if you would have paid him $3.4 million. Right? So like when I talk about like rewiring our brains.
Sorry, $4 million is $3.4 million?
Yeah, 3.9% of the cap, $3.4 million.
Gotcha.
That's what Dickinson's contract would have been worth 2 years ago when we do percentage of the cap.
Right.
And as we go forward, what's, $4 million divided by, what's it going to be? It's going to be $113 million next season. So in 27-28. 4.0 divided by 113 times 100. It's 3.5% of the cap at that point, right? Like you can start doing the math and working back on a lot of things, and it's like next year it's the equivalent of a $3 million player. And then by the time this gets to where it's ugly, in years 4 and 5, if it gets ugly, and I think that's more a Murphy thing than a Dickinson thing considering their age, but if it gets ugly for Dickinson in years 4 and 5, he's going to be making, the cap in that 4th year could be probably will be $130 million. That's like under 3% of the cap, isn't it?
Yeah. So it works out. That's why I don't really mind. And I think teams will just start doing this of just like giving out an extra year.
Yeah.
But if you get the cap down, I think that's most important. Like as much as I want the Oilers to like live in the future a little bit too, if some of these deals they do, you do have to live in the now as well, probably more present. So I think it's fine. Like I obviously just made the comment then of Podkolzin in your top 6, and was it Dr. Scruffy? Yeah, I said Pods is 100% a full-time second-line guy.
Totally.
And that's fine. I don't think he's a bad second-line player, but then I also just think he's not a natural goal scorer. And I think, too, if you can get another player in your top 6, and then Podkolzin is all of a sudden a third-line player, you're maximizing your value of your team. Like, I look at the Carolina Hurricanes, obviously, they just won the Cup, so they're the standard of the NHL right now. Nick Ehlers is a third-line player for them. Played on their third line.
It's more about deployment than labels, is what I would say.
Sure. So I think if, like, Pod's on the third line, Frederik's down there, we'll see what happens with Janmark. Who knows about Howard, whatever. He's probably going to be an in-and-out guy for the most part anyway. But if you can get another top 6 player, all of a sudden you're looking at that and you're like, it's a pretty legit team. Like, even if you bring back...
Everyone's drooling over the Florida Panthers. If the Oilers can make a splash for one top 6 winger, which is what Florida just did, I look at Edmonton and go, damn, that's a really good hockey team.
They're good. They can play. They need to add more offense. That's kind of my thing. And I think their offense was fine last season in the playoffs, especially when McDavid and Draisaitl weren't scoring like they were supposed to. Like, a lot of guys did step up, Dickinson being obviously the main one.
So the last thing I'll say, by year 4 of this deal, when the cap is $130 million, he will be making the equivalent percentage of the cap-wise of what a $2.6 million player was making in 2024-25.
Sorry, equivalent of what?
$2.64 million player 2 years ago.
Damn, that's like Brett Kulak money.
He'll be making the equivalent of what was a $2.85 million player last season.
Wow.
No one, Scott, if the Oilers last year were paying an elite third-line center $2.8 million, no one would be calling it an overpay. So, like, that's where I'm just at, where it's like, we have to remember that these contracts with the term, we did this whole bit on Friday, but like another global pandemic's probably not bringing the NHL to a screeching halt salary cap-wise in the next few years. We hope. God willing. But like, as long as that doesn't happen, these deals are all going to age fine. And we're at the point in the NHL where the valuable currency is now no longer cap space. The valuable currency is having assets to make big splashes. So part of the value of going into free agency and saying, you know what, did we give Jason Dickinson 1 year and $500K more than we'd like to? Yeah, we kind of did. I will concede that. I would have loved this deal more if it was 3.5. Beggars can't be choosers. If you're going to go get a player in a what I'd call premium position, and third line center is a very important box to check as a Stanley Cup contender,
Agreed.
You are either overpaying in free agency or you need the assets to go get that guy on the trade market, and the Oilers do not have the assets to go fill all of their holes on the trade market. Some teams do. The Oilers do not. So they need to use cap space to get these guys, which brings me to Connor Murphy. Connor Murphy is 33 years old. He'll turn 34 next February. But for all intents and purposes, this is his age 33 season. You were going to get this guy for 5 years. Matias, and I'm not comparing him directly to Matias Ekholm, obviously, because Ekholm, much, much better player. But Matias Ekholm, at the ages of 35 and 36, and we assume next year at age 37, Ekholm's still going to be fine, found a way to give you quality shutdown minutes. The idea that Connor Murphy is just going to fall off a cliff, I don't buy it. And by the end of this deal, he will be, just like Dickinson, making the equivalent of what right now we view $3 million defenseman as. Okay, Connor Murphy can absolutely be on your third pairing when he's 36 and 37 years old.
Yeah.
And he can hunker it down and play 13 minutes a night and penalty kill and block shots. Like, I think people who are expecting them to get better deals than what they got on these two guys do not understand how the landscape in the NHL is changing.
Well, I think, too, with...
Or they're bitching for the sake of bitching, which is happening.
When we did the comparisons, probably a month ago, I guess, when the Oilers got eliminated, we talked about Murphy specifically. I remember probably being no higher than $4.5 million because of what previous guys have got. Like, based on like years of AAV, I know there's an extra year on it, but like you got Connor Murphy cheaper than what LA got Cody Ceci.
Yeah.
And I think Dumoulin was 100,000 less, whatever it may be. But like, player to player, it's a good deal for Edmonton. And I think too, like, if you plan on losing Darnell Nurse, you can't lose Connor Murphy in that as well. You can't lose two players who were top 4 defensemen for you last season. One you can afford because the hope is obviously Jake Wallman can take the step and become a legit top 4 player for you. Like he was in those 6 games in the playoffs and the year before as well for the Oilers. I thought Walman was good. So your top 4 seems fine, but I do think Murphy was more critical for the Oilers to sign in comparison to Dickinson, for the reason being the Oilers had somewhat of an in-house replacement for Dickinson if push comes to shove. I do believe Szymanski was capable of playing that over time. I don't know if you had that in, what's his name? Ty Emberson. I like Emberson. Yeah. I think Emberson's a fine player. And I think let's just say someone gets injured, I think Emberson can step up and play top 4 minutes. But like you're asking Emberson to basically do that till the trade deadline to get another top 4 player. It's like, I don't know if you want to do that where, sorry, you can go, if you get you don't sign Dickinson, hypothetically, you sign Murphy. Szymanski can play up. You can find a 4th line center easily.
You've hedged your bets on those guys. If Ty Emberson comes into camp next year and has taken a massive step forward and you go, holy shit, this guy is good.
It's great.
Then you have a very deep blue line. And if you go into next season and it's like, whoa, this Szymanski guy is flying and we actually think he's bringing us some offense and you know what? We can play him quality 13, 14 minutes a night. Then that's good. But I don't think in a year that is as consequential as this season is for the Oilers, they were in any sort of a position where they can sit there, cross their fingers, and go, boy, I hope Josh Szymanski is a good third-line center. Boy, I hope Ty Emberson's ready to take a step forward. I'm high on both players. I think they're both perfectly capable of it. But crossing your fingers and saying, I hope this works, and if it doesn't, we'll just get something at the deadline. Okay, but you don't have enough assets to just at every deadline go first-round pick, second-round pick, third-round pick, out the door, out the door, out the door.
Well, now maybe at the deadline, now that they've finally filled these 2 crucial spots.
I love where you're going.
Maybe you can get a luxury player.
Florida didn't need Brad Marchand.
But they just went and got him because they could. Yeah. And they had everything else. And like maybe that's what this opens up now. It's like, hey, I don't know what might be available. But say Stamkos, for example. Let's go get Stamkos.
Yeah, let's just get
Bad
him.
example, but you know what I mean.
Fuck it, let's go get Ryan O'Reilly. What are the Oilers going to do with all those centers? Don't give a shit. Luxury ad. Like, hopefully by the trade deadline, you're first in the West. And it's like, all right, like your GM's more incentivized to do this stuff. Like, I don't know. The people bitching about Connor Murphy, here are some defensemen next season who are going to make around the same money as Connor Murphy. Come on. Brandon Carlo, Dante Fabro, Jacob Middleton's going to be in year 1 of a deal. Ryan Lindgren, year 1 of a $4.5 million deal this last year. Cody Ceci makes $4.5. Josh Manson makes $4.5. Jake McCabe makes $4.5. Like, there's a lot of guys in that mix. They paid market value for a guy in free agency.
Do you worry? People are talking a lot about the no movement clauses. I think the one thing, and I understand why people are frustrated by them.
It's the fucking Edmonton tax, man.
Yeah, it just happens. The one thing I think is good about these ones is they don't linger for, like, they're not just attached the entire time. They do have movement of it. Also, too, no movement clauses don't even mean that much.
I mean, they're getting Darnell Nurse to waive his.
And he's got like 5 years left. Brady Tkachuk, I know it's different, but like
I don't like him, but I think it's the reality of it. Is like,
if you can save you a couple $100,000 on the cap, that's what matters. And
no GM is going to sit there and be like, "Oh boy, the no move clause might bite me in 3 seasons." Because that GM is probably sitting there going, "If none of my signings work out, I'm fired in 3 seasons." So who cares?
Dickinson's is done after 2 seasons.
So is Murphy's.
And then they just oh yeah, there you go. Then they just have modified no trade clauses.
16-team list, which is again
half the league.
That
might be more than half the league.
Okay,
less than half the league.
Let's get to our guest line. Don't want to leave Landon waiting too long. It's brought to you by your Prairie Toyota dealers. Looking to dominate off the ice as much as your team does on it. Looking to make a big summer splash of your own. Check out the Toyota Tacoma. Standard I-Force engine boasts an impressive towing capacity of up to 6,400 pounds. And when it's time to load up, the available power liftgate makes loading your gear in and out a cinch. Experience power, capability, and convenience with the Toyota Tacoma. And now you can lease a 2026 Tacoma from $110 weekly at 5.69% APR for 60 months with $7,099 down. Don't even have to quiz you anymore because you know the answer.
Sure.
Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer. It's time to Toyota. It's time to welcome in good friend of the show, Landon Ferraro. Lots to get to today, Landon. But what was first off, how did your Father's Day round of golf go yesterday?
It was good. Had both the younger brothers out too. One's like just really starting to get into it. The other one doesn't play at all and was out there honestly did pretty well. But no, it was a ton of fun. Great night in Vancouver. Get out in the sun, have a couple drinks, and can't complain.
Hell yeah, we should get Landon out for the Oilers Nation Open, which is available now, nationgear.ca, if you want to get early bird pricing on the Oilers Nation Open at the end of August. Let's talk about the big news of the weekend. First reaction, Brady Tkachuk's a Florida Panther. Were you surprised?
Yeah, for sure. Like, am I surprised he got moved? No. Maybe a little bit that it happened out of nowhere this quick. But I mean, did anyone think Florida, and not only Florida, but no one leaving the roster? Like, I know they traded Sam Miskevich the day before to grab some of those assets, but like, still, I don't understand how they didn't have to lose anyone out of that. It's unbelievable. And now you look at that top six, and I mean, it's hockey. It's unpredictable. You have no idea what's going to happen, but it instantly feels like everyone else is playing for second place now. Right? Like, you look at that, and how does that team lose in any chance? Like, a skill game, they're there. A heavy game, they're there. They can throw it all together. Again, it's hockey. Anything can happen. And, I mean, we saw it last year, right? They didn't even get to the season before Barkov goes down, and then it instantly just blows up every plan that was there. But you're looking at it, and it's exciting to see big trades, but like, I don't want to see the NBA. And we are going that direction. And in one way, I mean, we're on the media side. I'm not going to say no to more fun things to talk about, for sure. But as a fan and all of that, like, it is hard to watch guys start moving around and having so much say. Again, as a former player, like, I love that guys have their say and their money's really going up. Like, all those things are great, but like, there needs to be control still, right? Like, you guys were talking about just before I came on there about the deals and the no move clauses and all of this. Like, at some point, the GMs and the presidents and like, they got to get it under control in some sense, right? Like, the players can say whatever they want, but I mean, the teams hold the control at the end of the day with contracts, right? Like, just don't give out as many. I don't understand how they haven't sat at one of those GM meetings and be like, guys, what are we doing here? Right? Like, to me, the fact that there's so many guys that have full no trades, and you're looking at them and like, good players, but before it was the top echelon that got that. Like, I have no problem with Dickinson and Murphy getting the 15 no trades in those last few years. Like, that to me should be the reward. Is, okay, you can choose half the league you don't want to go to. The other spots, like, man, it's a sport. You're getting paid a ton of money. It's a short time. Is it fun moving around a bunch? No, but I mean, I've moved around my entire life. I'd like to think I've turned out somewhat okay, right? So, like, you'll be fine. Like, there still needs to be some of that control and safeguard to the players, but man, it's gotten out of control.
And I see, people in the chat, like, stay loyal to your teams. And I totally understand that. I think on the side of the no movement clauses, I think where it gets awkward in these negotiations is because the player sits there and goes, well, I want a full no move. And the GM's got to be like, well, but what if this contract doesn't age and I want to trade you? And the player is like, well, if you believe in me enough to give me this contract, you should never want to trade me. It's almost horrible comparison here, but like, a prenup. It's like, well, we love each other. We're going to be together forever. Why should we need a prenup? Like, yeah, this contract's a win for both sides. Don't we agree? Okay, well, then you should be fine giving me the no movement clause. You should never want to move on from me if you like me this much.
I mean, for every case of all across the board there is one thing that's on your side if you're discussing that, and it's history. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, the proof is right there. You see what happens. But at the same time, if I'm the player and I'm going for that, all I care about is the control, right? Like, it's not that you're signing that saying, like, I'm signing this because I 100% am never leaving this city. Even when a guy loves the place he's in and maybe has that in the forefront of his brain, there's zero chance that he's not thinking about, this is all about my exit strategy if I need one. And it lets me control that. And whether I don't want to end up getting shipped somewhere, it's all about that side of it to me. And when teams start popping those out, like, I get it, but again, across the board, like you see it with different teams, like they've able to say like this is the max we're paying players. Everyone needs to slide underneath that. Like he's our best guy. And things are changing, so the cap's going up, but you can set those parameters on your team. You just have to stick to it. And get creative with the 15 trades and things like that where you're letting the guy feel like he's got good control, but at the same time, you can still do your business when you need to and you're not completely hamstringed.
I wonder if they would ever get to a point in negotiations where it's like, okay, teams can only have just say 3 players have no move clauses, like full no moves. Because isn't the NFL does that, right? Where it's only one player can be franchise tagged every year.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would ever get to something
then
like
that's
that.
collectively bargained.
Yeah,
what
they
are
would
the
have to
owners
get
going
to
to
the
give up?
CBA
Like
and
it's such a
everything.
mess.
But see, like to me, I love that idea of a franchise player. Like I do think the league should look at that. Like there's no reason that you have a player like McDavid and you're worried about him leaving that you shouldn't be able to throw everything that your owner is willing to do. Like you're building your business, you shouldn't be able to have your best asset just be able to walk without at least being able to throw everything at him. But the idea of the limit of no trades, like I like the idea of it, but it gets impossible when, well, now there's going to be a trade. So if we want one of those guys that's on a no trade, then we got to ship one out that has it. It just gets too muddy too quick. But I do like the idea of trying to limit that down. Again, I think it's just got to be more of an unspoken rule that, you know, GM, like teams all do work together in some instances and start clawing back in areas. Like it is just an area that I don't want them gone. I feel like it still needs to be what it was for me growing up. It was the star players got that, and everyone else, you just had to be okay with the millions of dollars you were signing for. All right, like you can't have everything.
What did you make though of the Oilers re-signing Jason Dickinson and Connor Murphy yesterday? It felt like they kind of if they were going to bring back 2 free agents, probably the top 2 they needed to bring back.
For sure, and Murphy I think was the bigger one, simply because to know and trust a stay-at-home hard defenseman, and his game doesn't rely on speed. Right? Like, even now, it's not like he's ripping all over the ice. So, as you talk about him getting older through those 5 years, like, I don't see where his game can really drop off. Mm-hmm. Right? If he loses even, a quarter more step, well, he just doesn't take an extra step to the corner. And he has a better angle. And he's smart enough to figure those things out. And then he's still going to be the guy that when you get close enough to him, you're going to feel a cross check or the extra slash. Like if anything, that will grow as he loses a step. So I got no problem there. Dickinson, not that I have any problem with it. I still thought that they were going to try and find a cheaper option in free agency, even if it's not exactly what they want, but just off the top of my head, like a Colton Sissons. Like putting something in there that is reliable defensively. He can do the offensive side to the same point as Dickinson, but he's probably going to be $1 million and $1.5 million less off the top of my head. Could be so wrong with that. I'm new on the contract side. I've said this before. It's tough, man, especially with everything changing. Like I was just starting to get the hang of it, I felt, and then the cap just skyrockets again.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sissons is a guy who gets, 3.25. The one thing I like about him is that he is a right shot. But here's the other thing too: is if he is a guy who's in that $2 million range, I mean, I love depth down the middle. Like they have a little bit of money, and once they get out of Darnell Nurse, which the expectation is that at some point in the next 7 days they will, they're gonna have some wiggle room here. It's a risk when you go to July 1st because then you can get into some bidding wars here where like what happens if you went to the market and said, all right, we like Colton Sissons, we're going to try get him. And he goes, well, Vegas just threw me 2.5 in a tax-free state. I'm sticking there. Like I'm not coming to you guys for 3.25. Like I just don't mind taking 2 key spots with Murphy on the right side in that second pair, Dickinson down the middle. You lock him in, you solidify him. Now it makes it, if you would have traded Darnell Nurse and not had Murphy re-signed, I'd be sitting there going like, oh my God, you might be in trouble. That's when you can start getting desperate. The Oilers have been dog shit on July 1st the last number of summers. Like, to me, this is taking out some of the risk of the offseason and now kind of allows Stan Bowman to get more aggressive in terms of adding to this team in areas that, like we said earlier, are kind of more luxury ads.
Yeah, and that's why I started with, like, I'm not going to complain about the Dickinson contract because he's a good player. I think it's a fair price. Like, I have no problem with it. I just, even with Sissons went another way, like, I think there's enough value centers out there to fill a role that is good defensively and kind of chips in offensively. Like, I think you could have cut that contract in half or at least $1 million off of it, and now you're looking at another $1 or $1.5 million into that luxury ad, right? Like, that's why I bring it up that way. I see some value there that they could go out and get a bigger piece, but in saying that, there is something about familiarity, knowing that they can handle the situation, they can jump up and down the lineup a little bit. All of that it comes with a premium in a sense. That peace of mind.
Yeah. Kasperi Kapanen, I think, is a very interesting player for the Oilers this summer because when he plays, he's pretty good. Like, he fits in well next to Draisaitl. Last season, he literally ended up finishing the season on the top line next to McDavid and Draisaitl. Would you bring him back, or do you think he's one of those guys who, just because he is kind of out of the lineup so much, that maybe he's not someone you want in the team anymore?
I mean, I'm definitely checking in and seeing what he wants. You know, I think if I'm Kapanen, I'm definitely aggressively talking to Oilers management about trying to come back with the situation that's there, understanding that, you know, go on, I mean, even a 2-year deal, instead of trying to grab a little extra money somewhere else right now, betting on himself a bit, thinking that, okay, if I could stay healthy and get through a full year here, like, I have a real opportunity to inflate myself and I can hit on that next one. I think it's pretty mutually beneficial for them to figure out a decently fair price and let them go to work, because it gives you that flexibility, but you've seen what the top end can be. It's just about trying to see if that, like his career in general, if that consistency can come a little bit more. But I feel like it's a decently cheap player to definitely hold on to.
Again, all it takes though is one, and with the free agency class being as weak as it is, like, there might be a team like Columbus who just sits there and they whiff on a couple of other free agents and are like, screw it, we have to get to the cap floor, $3.5 million for Kasperi Kapanen, and then you're hooped. And not to keep hammering on this point, but, like, I think there's a world where if they would have been like, you know what, let's roll the dice on July 1 with Jason Dickinson, maybe when Jason Dickinson gets to July 1 and, you know, San Jose says, you're our ideal veteran third line center, here's 5 by 5.25. It might be like, you know what, it's hard to turn down that extra little bit of money. Like, there's just going to be that inherent risk to it. And I do wonder with Kapanen too. Like, Aaron, we had the DFO lines in terms of the forward group. We're assuming they make a top 6 splash, but Liam talked about this earlier. This forward group, actually, you can start to see how it looks pretty darn good and how everyone slots into some pretty quality spots. Like, I don't know if they need Kapanen.
Yeah, and again, it's just one of those looking at what that deal can be and how low it can get to for the Oilers side, right? And then it's just about having the discussion, do we want to allocate that money to someone from the outside, a younger guy that hasn't got that opportunity, and see if they can find some true value there? Or, again, because of where the Oilers are at, do they want more known and not as many question marks? So again, like, it's just about what you're comfortable with. And, you know, like you bring up Dickinson going to market, really, like, if you're letting him go there, you're basically saying he's gone, right? Because you're not going to be able to match what it is. The only way you let him go is if there's a group of 2 or 3 guys in that $1 million lower range that you're comfortable with. You know, like, there's so many other factors that go into it. Just bringing up Sissons again, just because I know the situation a little bit more, but, like, he's coming off a 7-year deal where he made $20 million, which I believe all 3 of us would be very happy having that. But he probably lost a bit of coin in that. And when you're talking about a San Jose or a team like that, like that's a guy I could see going for bigger money because he's in a sense lost some through that 7-year deal. Like there's so many parts that go into it that again, like that's where like I understand the familiar side more. Like we don't even want to take that risk. We have enough at play going on with the Oilers. We don't need to add into the stress of getting ready for next year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So as we continue to kind of go throughout this week here, again, Darnell Nurse trade probably going to happen, but there also is kind of the feeling around the NHL that this Brady Tkachuk thing is sort of the first big domino. Jason Robertson in Dallas. Friedman was whispering about Werenski in Columbus maybe being someone that looks at all his other USA teammates and is like, whoa. They all get to team up? I want to do that too. And maybe he asks out. Like, buckle up. I'm torn on if it's good or not. Oh, go ahead.
But also, like, don't forget the picks that went to Ottawa. Those things aren't sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, not a chance.
Tough part for Ottawa is going to be, again, like you have the assets to probably go get a Jason Robertson. Does Jason Robertson sign a long-term deal in Ottawa? Like Ottawa could get to a point where they look around the league and they try to make all these moves and guys might be like, I'm not waving to go there. Like they're in an interesting spot just where they're at with their franchise, where they sit geographically, the Canada-USA thing. Like, I don't know. I think it might be tougher than they think to go find a real quality piece on the market.
But, and see, like, again, this is where it's great that the players are getting more and more control, but there also is a line that is still there of, like, there's only X number of players that legitimately have the say that a Brady Tkachuk does, or Matthew the years before, and some other guys that we've seen. Like, there's not going to be second and third liners that can go demand all of this. Even with, you know, like, you get a 15-no trade, that's still a lot of business open, right? So we can worry about this all you want, but when there's a $50 million deal sitting there, things change pretty quick. And the guy that, you know, Brady Tkachuk might want to drive his golf cart to practice, and that's great. That's a sick deal. But not everyone gets that option. Like, you got to go play, and it's amazing what happens when you're on a team that starts to win. It doesn't matter where you are, right? Like, I was drafted Detroit, love Detroit. It's not like it's this beautiful, beautiful place. But for the longest time ever, they could sign whoever they wanted. And not only that, but at discounts, just for a chance to come win. Right? Like, it doesn't matter what the city is. As long as you're winning, guys will come. You just need to break through that. And that's where Ottawa is right now. They're at that crossroad, and, well, I mean, even a little bit to the left now.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that's interesting with Robertson, too, if he was to go to Ottawa, he did play in the OHL as an American-born player.
Yeah, and he still, I saw someone on Twitter, some Sens fans were really trying to connect dots. They were like, he is still dating the same girl he met who's from Kingston. So
gotta mean something. That's why I live where I live. That's where my girlfriend's from.
Yes.
Hey, I've got to live in some crazy smaller places and move around a ton. You can live anywhere and be happy, but at the same time, let's not be naive. If you're picking, I don't want to name Kingston, I'll throw Trail, my hometown, which I love. You throw that, or you're living in Dallas, or places are different. It is what it is.
Yeah, I get it.
I've been to Dallas. I don't know. Pretty overrated. I'd rather live in Edmonton.
I wasn't a big Dallas fan either. Too hot.
Too
Dallas
hot.
Is hot. I'm already complaining about Vancouver heat. I'm not a guy that gets tan. I go through SPF 50 spray cans like it's my job.
All right, Landon, as always, man, appreciate you popping on. Thanks for doing this. We'll chat next week.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
There you go. Landon Ferraro, Sportsnet, Sports 1440. Bounces around here, Oilers Nation Everyday. All right.
Still a lot of no movement clauses. I just want to clarify something.
Okay.
Matias Janmark has a modified no trade list to 10 teams, which I promise you is 7 other Canadian teams, and then probably like...
Well, 6 of the other ones, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, there's only 7 teams. And then 3 other random American cities he doesn't want to live in. Like, I mean,
we can probably speculate on this pretty easily here. It's probably like those 6 and then like Detroit, Seattle. I think if he's not in
Buffalo.
Edmonton, Buffalo. He just wants to go somewhere warm.
I think the no trade things, I can, again, like, not to get too deep into it, but like, people get frustrated by them. I get it. But like, if the Dickinson one is, sorry, let me restart. Players don't want to leave Edmonton because they are winning hockey games.
Yes.
Adam Henrique did not want to leave, not because he was not because the Oilers were just, he loves living in Edmonton, which I'm sure he appreciated, but like, he wanted to win a Stanley Cup. And that obviously was an obstacle in the Oilers process that maybe they shouldn't have done it. I just think they're a little bit overblown. And I think sometimes too, if the situation just isn't working in general, and like, I would say there's a better than 50% chance on most cases that you can probably talk to the player and be like, hey man, this just isn't working for either of us. Do you want to get traded? And they'll probably say yes. Now, do you think that's fair? Like,
what's preventing the Oilers from trading Trent Frederick is not his no movement clause.
No, in fact, he's bad.
Yeah.
And like Tristan Jarry, someone put in there, he's like, we can't move him because he has a no trade clause.
Nope.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a no trade clause.
If you went to Tristan Jarry, we're like, will you go to Nashville? He'd be like, hell yeah.
He has a 12-team no trade list. And again, like, I don't think that no trade list is such a bad thing for teams, for players. Because guys don't want to go to bad spots, and that's fair enough. So, I don't know. I'm kind of on the side of it as like, sure, like, I think they're a bit overblown. Like, not everyone deserves one. I think that's fair. I like what Landon was saying.
Janmark, that's a bit far.
Yeah, but like, it's 10 teams. There's 22 other teams. If you're a half-decent GM, you should be able to trade someone like that if you wanted to.
Yeah, you should be able to just throw him into a deal and be like, hey, you got to take Janmark's money for the next year. That is a good point. For those curious about the Oilers' cap situation now, after Murphy and Dickinson signed, they have $7.4 million in cap space with 11 forwards, 6 defensemen, and 1 goalie on the roster. They need to sign Stasny and Doc as their RFAs. So let's say they did that, and let's say those two guys just combined for $2 million, which they should.
Okay.
Should be around $2 million. So then you have $5.4 million to sign. At that point, you just need a goalie, and you can technically run a cap compliant roster. So that's interesting.
Which is spooky.
You'd be running back basically the same team.
Which isn't good enough.
No. So you need to do a little bit more than that, which is why they need to, and I talked about this in my 5-part series to kick off the summer at Oilersnation.com. You have to offload some money, but the path to them having a lot of financial flexibility, that comes if we get the full Darnell Nurse money off. Which, again, doesn't sound like the craziest outcome, most unrealistic outcome right now. I do think if you gun to my head, said, is it full salary out or $2 million retained? I'd probably still say it's $2 million retained, but let's live in a world where they get the full money out. You get rid of Darnell Nurse. Now all of a sudden you're sitting here with roughly $14 million in cap space, and you need to sign a goalie, a D-man, and a forward. You can start to see the path to how they get an $8 million player in here.
Do you have any interest in Bobrovsky?
No. I think if Florida's letting him walk after a bad season, they know something we don't, and I'm not touching it.
I think he might go back.
I think this is all just posture. I think he's going back to Florida.
Is there anyone else they could
But
move?
The only caveat, Evan Rodriguez gives him $3.5 million.
Right.
They'll get rid of him easily. The only caveat I'll throw to that is, again, Sergei Bobrovsky turns 38 years old in September. Mm-hmm. He is coming off a year where he had an .877 save percentage and his numbers tanked. I get you can say the Panthers weren't quite as good, but you're telling me just the absence of Alexander Barkov caused his save percentage to drop 29 points? Florida honestly might just sit there and do the cutthroat Vegas thing where Bob, and I still think Bob would sign there on a discount, because when you've made $112 million, why would you not want to keep living in Florida? Why would you be like, all right, I'll go sign in Seattle? Like, that would be very dumb of him, I think. I think he will keep making... I think he wants to stay in Florida. I think the path to him leaving is Florida just says, oh, we aren't interested in any deal. Unless you're going to sign for $2.5 million to be a backup for a couple of years, we've seen it with our own eyes that you're going to fall off. And they are one of the organizations, if I'm remembering correctly, right? Roberto Luongo, they have like a whole goalie department. They're kind of forward thinkers in that way.
Many ways, yeah. It's just interesting they don't have anyone. And like, obviously they had Knight at one point, they had Devin Levi at another point, and now they don't have a goalie. I'm just curious what they do considering the market is so little. And basically you have Connor Ingram, Skinner, Anderson, and maybe forgetting someone like Bobrovsky, obviously, too. We'll see what happens. I just wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting back there.
Would you be... So remember the Ross Colton deal? They got 2/3 for him?
2/4, I think.
No, it was better than that. It was 2/3.
Sure.
It was 2/3 for him.
Would I do that for Evan Rodriguez?
Could you see, not the Oilers, could you see Florida getting 2/3 for Evan Rodriguez? I think absolutely. 3.5 mil?
I would take Rodriguez.
I'm open to it, but I just follow me through an exercise here.
Okay.
They get 2/3.
Exercise.
They get 2/3 for Evan Rodriguez. Yes, we all agree that's realistic.
Yes.
They then have $10.5 million, just over $10 million, with 12 forwards on the roster, 6 defensemen on the roster, and no goalies. They'll just go trade. They have 2 second-rounders this year. They'll just go trade 2 second-rounders to St. Louis, get Jordan Binnington, and then they'll sit there and have 2/3 and a pretty full draft class still behind them.
God, what a fucking annoying team that would be to play. Like, you want to talk about full rat. To go get Binnington would be nuts.
Can't you see it, though?
But no, I totally could. But I also, like we talk about the player empowerment move and everything. But don't you just have to appreciate the work that Bill Zito is willing to do? And I know that's kind of like an out there hypothetical you just did. But like, you could also definitely see it happening.
I don't think it's that far out there, Liam.
No, I don't. But like, it's not happening. It's kind of my point. But like,
it's they'll just get Binnington. I don't think they have the horses to get Hellebuck, because if they weren't willing to part with Lundell in this deal, you're probably not willing to part with them in any deal.
Yeah,
I could see the only path to Bobrovsky leaving is if Florida says we don't want you back, and if that happens, I sit there and go, they know more about the guy than I do. If Florida doesn't want him back at a discount, I'm not interested in paying market value for Bob. He's 38. Everyone, you can sit there and say it's a bad year, and if he was 28, I'd be like, yeah, it was just a bad year. If he was 33, I'd say, hey, it's a bad year. If he was 35, I'd be like, ooh, I'm a little worried that that's more than just a bad year. He's going to be 38 when the puck drops next season. He might just, and I know he's a freak in fitness, and he doesn't, there's just no guarantee you get it back, man. Father Time beats everybody.
He's 100%.
So I don't think I'd be overly interested in Sergei Bobrovsky if you were to get to market. I'd rather, God, don't clip this, but
clip it. Someone clip it. Here we go. You'd rather have Stuart Skinner.
I'd rather have Connor Ingram.
But I don't think that's actually a crazy thing to say, and I understand. Obviously, people might say, "Was like, well, Bob won 2 cups," and I think Bob still has an ability to find his way back, but I think he's a riskier sign-in than Connor Ingram. Like, Connor Ingram's the safest goalie the others could sign. Mm-hmm. 1, because he's good, and 2, because you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know?
Yeah, I think that makes it easy. It'd be interesting. Someone made the point, and maybe they're right. It's like, well, it's pretty easy to be the GM of Florida when everyone just says you want to go there. And that's fair, but it also takes the balance of, well, I'm not trading Lundell. Yeah. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Like, he did go out and get Seth Jones and then turn Seth Jones into what he ended up being. Someone made the point, too. It might have actually been you. Because they got brought up again today. One thing I forgot to mention on when they got Seth Jones is Spencer Knight's contract was like $4.5 million. So that probably brings down the value. Like you've been.
They had to get rid of Knight if they wanted to afford Jones.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of layers to it. But I mean, I don't know. No one wanted to go to Florida before Bill Zito got there. Like
because they weren't winning.
They weren't winning. They weren't doing shit. They were the most overrated team in the league, where they had 100-point seasons before Bill Zito got there, and then they just got knocked down in the first round every year. I would love him to be the Oilers GM.
I think he's a great GM. And again, you could sit there and say everyone wants to play there. The dude had the stones to trade 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
They are not going to have a first-round pick now until 2031. The next 5 drafts, they will not have a pick in the first round.
Tomas P said, sorry, but Ingram isn't good enough. He's not bad, but we need better. And yes, it's going to be hard.
Brandon Bussey was on waivers in October.
Yeah.
And he lifted the Stanley Cup over his head.
He was on the sheet today. And what chaos.
Yeah.
Go check those out. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I just think with Ingram, and maybe this can just be any goalie to kind of Thomas's point. The others play well. The goalie plays well. It's not a coincidence. You know, like when Ingram's best game in the playoffs is probably Game 5.
Yep,
Played really well. And Jari, to his credit as well, in that overtime game. Actually, the Oilers didn't even play well in front of him. Jari had a really solid game. But you get any form of defense, and all of a sudden, it's like, the Oilers win the hockey game.
Yeah.
And you could probably count on your 10 fingers, unless you have 11, how many games the Oilers played well defensively last season. And it's probably just the 10 games your goalies played well.
There's a theory in the hockey world that there are 5 to 7 truly elite goaltenders, and everybody else is a gamble. Let me throw you this. Frederik Andersen.
Ready to catch.
You're like a cat.
I've been watching...
I'm curious, like a cat.
Go Cubs.
Cubs win.
Cubs win.
Can I... I'm going to read you a few things here, okay? I'm going to give you some vision. Let me put you on game. Freddie Andersen in the conference finals last year. You ready for his save percentages in the 4 games he played? 750, 750, shutout, 833. Utterly dog shit in 3 of the 4 games that he played. And then they yanked him, didn't play him in game 5 and lost. Year before that, the second round loss for the Carolina Hurricanes, 826, 897, 880, 952, 826 in the game they're eliminated. Pretty subpar in 3 of the 5 games in the series. Year before that, had an 833 in their last game. Like, the book on Freddie Andersen, if you go through his playoff save percentages before this season, they weren't good. He crumbled at the worst times for that team.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, too, I'm trying to remember correctly, didn't Stuart Skinner have a better save percentage than Bobrovsky in 24 in the Cup final? I think they were both kind of shit, but I think Skinner was actually better over the 7 games.
So
statistically,
Carolina basically just kept rolling out the same guy and being like, eventually he'll get hot. So there's a theory in the NHL that there are 5 to 7 elite goalies, and everybody else that you could realistically get your hands on is a gamble. Like, once that drop off occurs, the thinking is basically that there's no step in between elite and every other guy to some extent. It's like elite, NHL goalie, and then below replacement level.
Do you think there's even 7 goalies that are elite?
You'll push back on a couple of the names that I'm going to rattle your way, but yes. I think Ottinger is a guy who is elite, although he has his playoff struggles, which makes it funny.
He's probably 7 on the list, but either way.
But he's in that list.
Okay, let me blind rank them.
Hellebuck.
1.
So we have Hellebuck, Ottinger.
Got 1 and 7.
I'm tempted to put UC Saros on the list. UC Saros. But
sure,
he's
6.
down by Ottinger. And then after that, Sorokin and Shesterkin.
Sure. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
And Vasilevsky.
That's 6. So there you go. Whatever. You said 5.
That's
7.
6, and then we can throw Swayman 7.
I think this...
Swayman's probably close. But again, so like those are the guys who are like the steal you every game, whatever. And there are guys who can work their way into that conversation too, like a Dostal. I get it. Dustin Wolf, people want to,
Logan Thompson, another great goalie.
Yeah, really good goalie. But you can look at all those guys, and Dustin Wolf had the same save percentage this year as Connor Ingram. And there's more to numbers and data and the goaltending position than just blanketly throwing out save percentages of guys. But like, there is a prevailing thought that if you're not going to get one of the guys that's worth paying $8+ million, then you just go the complete other way and you get 2 guys who are capable of getting hot, which is literally the Carolina approach. 2 guys capable of getting hot. One of them got hot at the right time. The other guy cooled down. They threw in the other guy. He got red hot. And they won the Stanley Cup with it. They didn't have a superstar in that. Neither one of those guys. Again, Bussy, on waivers, start of the year. Unknown name. Guy who could barely hold down an American League job.
I do think Connor Hellebuck is best goalie in the league on his day.
Totally.
But this is to the point of what you're making. I'm not trying to counter the eliteness of Hellebuck thing. He's great. Like I said, 27 goaltenders had a better goal saved above expected than Connor Hellebuck last season. One of them being Stuart Skinner.
Stunning.
Which is well,
Logan Thompson probably deserves to be in there, but
I think he's a top 5 goalie in the league for sure.
Yeah, he deserves. But let me throw you this: he was acquired 2 years ago for 2 third-round picks.
You know what university you went to?
Lethbridge.
Close. Brock. Do you know who else went there?
Connor Unger.
Connor Unger. Why don't we give him a shot?
But like, my point here, like, again, Logan Thompson got acquired for 2 third-round picks. If Vegas would have known what they had in Logan Thompson, they wouldn't have given Aiden Hill an albatross contract, right? Logan Thompson led the NHL in goals saved above expected this last year. Yeah. Scott Wedgwood. What a season. Hart Trophy votes.
Hart Trophy vote.
Vota. Acquired for a 6th-round pick. Like, the idea is that there are the elite of the elite, and everyone else is just mush and unpredictable. Everyone else is unpredictable. When the Caps acquired Logan Thompson, they did not think they were getting a guy who was going to be on Team Canada and in the Vezina conversation. They didn't.
No, I totally. Goalies are stupid. I frankly hate them. Because they make me look stupid. They make you look stupid. Not you, Aaron. They
make a lot of really smart hockey people look stupid, man.
Stupid because they're ridiculous. Even this Jet, like someone just put in there, Jet Greaves. Where did that guy come from? You know what I mean?
When was he even picked? Right? And I agree. He's a guy who might work his way into the Team Canada conversation. He had a breakout season at 25 years old. Literally had almost as good of a save percentage this year in the NHL than he did last year in the American League. Went from a 910 in Cleveland to a 908 in Columbus. And he had gotten stints and cups of coffee before.
Hall of Fame is announced. Someone just put in the chat.
Patrice Bergeron, Carey Price, Pekka Rinne, Keith Tkachuk. And then Cindy Curley on the women's side. Brian Burke is a builder.
Brian Burke is a builder.
Bergeron, Price, Rinne, that makes sense.
I think Burke's career, and maybe it's just me, a little underrated. Brian Burke.
Yeah, he was a good GM for a lot of teams.
He was consistently a solid GM. Toronto was obviously a bit of a mess, but I think it was a mess when he got there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Won his cup in Anaheim. I know he kind of Pronger, got both the Sedins to Vancouver. I think people forget that was him. He was
Great
a big
piece
part
of
of
GM
that.
work.
Interesting. Keith Tkachuk, he's kind of been a guy, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, I didn't really watch Keith Tkachuk. Didn't know what hockey was when he was playing. Probably could have got in a little bit ago, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think this is probably a fair time for him to get to the Hall of Fame?
Probably fair.
Yeah. And then what were the other ones? Sorry. Bergeron.
Rinne. Price. 2 goalies.
Yeah, that's right. 2 goalies. Still no Joseph. He's the one that's kind of the goalie that everyone says he should be in, but he's not, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Are you surprised by Pekka Rinne?
Not a lot of individual success, hey? No cup.
917 career save percentage in 683 games.
Yep, that'll work.
Incredible.
Did he win a Vezina? He definitely did.
Yeah, he won one.
He made it to the Cup final.
Made it to the Cup final and whatever year that was.
Apparently that's worth nothing. So he won 1 Vezina and finished as the runner-up twice, finished 3rd once.
He did win a Vezina?
He did win 1 Vezina.
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, was 4th in Hart voting one year. Yeah, I mean, great goalie. Great goalie.
Yeah.
No
Seems like a decent class. But also I don't want to sound disrespectful, but it probably will. A little bit underwhelming. I feel like sometimes, and maybe it just wasn't a great class to pick from.
I mean, amongst qualified goalies?
I guess Carey Price is... Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Carey Price did win a Hart Trophy as a goalie in an incredible 2014 Olympics.
Oh, yeah. Carey Price is a better pick than Rinne.
I was going to say it felt like it didn't have the star power, but Carey Price, that was wrong of me to say. He was unbelievable.
Those 2 guys at a 917 save percentage, they're tied for the 11th best save percentage in league history.
Damn. Yeah.
And if you take out guys who played under 500 games and kind of did had to have the longevity factor too, it removes it actually removes all the guys who just are not Hall of Famers at all, because it gets rid of Bishop, Thomas, Czechmanic, Schneider, and Crawford. So if you go all-time save percentages for guys who played at least 500 games, they're both comfortably top 10 in the sport, almost top 5. So they're in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rod Brind'Amour, I think people are a little bit... Brind'Amour maybe could go in as a player, I suppose. I was just reading some of the comments on Twitter. Maybe eventually, I don't know. I mean, his career was great. Mm-hmm. No, he's one of the best coaches in the league, if not the best.
Well, let's wrap up the show with our first question. We didn't get to it earlier.
Forgot about that.
I mean, the show's flying by. It's been we're giving you guys a long one today. It's brought to you by our friends at Capital GMC Buick Edmonton. They're committed to the community. They raised over $30,000 last year for the Stollery Children's Hospital. So, when you give them their business, they're returning the favor and doing good stuff in our community. Check them out online, capitalgmcbuick.ca. Welcome to Denaliville. From sales to service, Capital GMC Buick is a full-service dealership with certified technicians dedicated to keeping your vehicle performing at its best. So it's not just buying the vehicle there. It's the fact they can take care of you from every angle going forward. Here's your first question. Will the Oilers sign another free agent with an AAV north of $4 million this summer?
Ooh, great question.
Oh, it's a great question. That's a good one. It's a good one.
I don't know if Connor Ingram would get that high. And
won't.
therefore, I don't think the goalie would come in that high. So that eliminates that. They don't need a $4 million guy defensively. The only guy, because Bobby McMahon obviously re-signed this weekend too. Was it 5.75? Mm-hmm. I think the only forward that'll get paid more than McMahon, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is probably Tuck.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will say I think they'll get Mikheyev. I think he might touch 4, and that's the highest they would go.
I think he'll be like 3.5.
Yeah, I think he will probably come in around there, but like if they were, that's as high as it would be. So I guess I'll say no, which I think would be good news. They could trade for someone.
I'm saying no, and I'm not saying that it's like a failure. I think their big ad has to come on, in all likelihood, the trade market. Which, again, is why you have to prioritize bringing back Dickinson and Murphy, because they cost you no assets. You already spent assets to get them. They cost you no assets. You need to save what little assets you have. Like, if we're talking about a jaw-on-the-floor style of trade for the Oilers, it takes Howard, it takes your 2028 first, and it takes probably one of your next 2 second-rounders. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's sort of the type of package we're looking at here to get a Kyrou or whoever. I'm talking about a top 6 winger, legitimate 30-plus goal upside. It's costing you those kinds of assets. So I think you just need to save all those pieces, because you also don't have a lot of mid-tier assets to move either. You had to save those pieces. That's why it made sense to go the Murphy-Dickinson route. I think it does not make sense to spend north of $4 million on anyone but Alex Tuck, and I don't think they get Alex Tuck. So, yeah. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that these are the only $4 million plus free agents they get. I think we'll see I think we could see a D-man and a forward still brought in.
Yeah,
I think we could see Ingram brought back too. Mm-hmm. But I just think we're shopping more with the Bjorkstrands and the Mikheyevs than we are Anders Lees. If that makes sense.
Yeah, someone asked actually in the mailbag this week, which you can check out at Oilers Nation. It's live.
It's alive.
It's alive. If they were to lose Roslovic, they did have Dickinson in there, but he'd already signed by the time the question was sent. After the question was sent, I guess. Can they replace Roslovic and Kapanen? Like, are those easy guys to replace? I think there's a lot, and we did discuss it. Maybe on ONR it was. There's a lot of like middle 6 forwards on the market, which is probably beneficial for the Oilers this summer. Not that they've had great success doing that by any means. But I think they might be able to do it. And also, too, the Mikheyev stuff, the reason I'm kind of linking him, 1, Chicago player, of course. Mm-hmm. We know Stan Bowman loves Chicago players. 2, he fits the mold of what Edmonton need, where he scores at 5-5 and he can kill penalties. Mm-hmm. 4, his agent went on the Puckpedia podcast the other day, who is Dan Milstein, and said, my players love playing for Mike Babcock. Never had a problem. So, there you go.
AFP Analytics it's actually a pretty long list of players who are projected to get over $4 million.
Really? A lot of forwards, a defenseman?
Pretty big mix. But I will rattle them off to you, and you tell me if you like any of them on the Oilers.
Okay.
Knowing what you know, not like fit counts, all that stuff. Okay.
Which to some people isn't much, but I'll answer.
Andrei Kuzmenko.
No, I would not.
Brett Kulak.
I would like Kulak. No, I wouldn't. I have to be honest.
At 4.1 mil?
No, I wouldn't.
Nick Blankenberg.
Really? Holy moly. No, I would not.
Scott Lawton.
Not anymore.
Andrew Peak. His analytics are very yucky.
No. I thought he was okay.
Ryan Shea at 4.3 mil.
Bit too risky, but I think the play is good, but I don't think it would be a fit.
If you were totally out of Darnell Nurse, I can get on board with it.
Sure. So there's one.
There's one option. Stuart Skinner.
No.
Jack Roslovic.
No.
Jaden Schwartz. Victor Arvidsson.
No, he won't come.
No. Mario Ferraro.
No.
John Klingberg. Because we're up to 5.1 now for Klingberg.
5 point. Are we going higher?
Yeah, I'm going higher.
Oh, no. I thought we were getting lower.
Boone Jenner.
Not anymore.
Sergei Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky, no.
Mason Marchment at 5.6.
Bit too rich for my taste.
Bunting 5.8. That's
No.
horrendous. Zuccarello, no. Mantha, no. Trouba, no. Anders Lee, John Carlson, Rasmus Anderson, Alex Tuck. They're all no's. So we agree there's one. It's maybe Ryan Shea.
I mean, yeah, that's the one. If Tuck is like, I would like to play in Edmonton, and you can get him on a good deal, then of course, like, you would want that guy.
Yeah.
But so let's just say I say 2. Tuck would be another guy I would pay for.
Tuck and Shea,
Yeah.
if the dollars are right. If you got to the open market, I'd be somewhat tempted to give Ryan Shea the Murphy deal. I know he's less proven, but you'd be sitting there with a blue line that next season would be Bouchard. The right side goes Bouchard, Murphy, Andersen. The left side goes Ekholm, Wallman, Ryan Shea, who proved he can take heavy minutes in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then Spencer Stasny and Alec Regula are your extras on both the left and right side. So you're kind of 8 deep. And I think you look at a third pair, that's Shea and Emberson, and you're like, between that and a Murphy-Wallman second pair, you can probably even make life a bit easier on an Ekholm Bouchard top pair. Like, that's a really good blue line. And in that process, you've saved yourself $500,000 for $5 million because you offloaded Nurse, which you then basically just tack onto the cap space you have now. You're at $12 million in cap space to sign a forward and a D-man, or a forward and a goalie. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is good. A couple.
Maybe
people
that's
in
what
the
it ends
chat.
up being then, is just Nurse for the negotiating rights to Ryan Shea.
Yeah, maybe that would be a pretty good blue line.
Be a really nice blue line.
And the Oilers don't really have any defensive prospects that would be pushing like hard the next few years. Like, I think Bo Akey and Damon Carfagna have the potential to play NHL minutes one day. I don't know when that comes, but I don't think the Oilers are like too concerned about that when is going to happen as well. So that's interesting. Someone put again, Tomas, it was actually, he said, Mikheyev is ass in the playoffs, please no. I think circumstances can be a bit different too. Like, Mikheyev, he's right. Like, 30 games, 4 points. All 4 points came in one playoff round for the Maple Leafs in 7 games in 22. 98 goals in 427 games, but 3 seasons, back-to-back seasons, it was 18, 20, and then Vancouver was a lot in the teens. I don't know if Vancouver was just like not a good fit for him.
Connor Brown, in his 20 career playoff games before he came to Edmonton, scored 1 goal.
Yeah.
Like, Jordan Eberle was bad in the playoffs in Edmonton, then went on to be one of the better playoff performers in the league over the next couple of seasons, production-wise. Scored some big goals. Like, my point is, I'm not going to sit here and turn my nose up to a guy like Mikheyev because he's been bad on other playoff teams. I'm willing to give him a chance here. I don't think that defines the player all that much.
I think, too, like, and it's a little bit different because I think Mikheyev has a larger sample size, I guess we can call it. But when Jordan Eberle left so I think Eberle's a very interesting story in terms of, like, big moments. Because obviously, as Canada's goal, he was good for Regina and that playoff stuff. He came to Edmonton, played in that playoff series, playoff run, was not good. 2 points, I think, maybe a little bit more.
Had that bad turnover, all that.
Yeah, and then he was labeled as that, went to Seattle, was good for them, scored a huge goal, and I think it was Game 7 of...
Didn't he eliminate the...
Well, I was going to say it was the Avalanche. I think so. So, I mean,
also, when he played with the Islanders...
Islanders, yeah. I mean, he has 76 playoff games, 47 points.
It's pretty good.
He's just a middle six forward.
Yeah.
And he's good at it. So, I don't know. I think circumstances can be different, mindset of things.
Can I throw you... I'll end everybody on a super positive, this is the Oilers team heading into next year. You trade Darnell Nurse, and you get the negotiating rights to Ryan Shea. You give him the Murphy deal. So your blue line, like we said, is Ekholm with Bouchard, Wallman with Murphy, Ryan Shea with Ty Emberson, Stasny's your 7. You bring back Ingram. Your goalie duo is Ingram-Jari for next season, and you trade Ike Howard in your 28 first and a second, and you get Jordan Kyrou in your forward group. If you can flash it up on DFO one more time for me, Aaron. Your forward group next season is top line Kyrou, McDavid, Hyman. Unbelievable. Your second line is Draisaitl, Savoy, Podkolzin. Draisaitl with 2 guys with legit 20-goal potential, I'll say. Your third line is Dickinson, Nuge, Freddie. And your fourth line is Szymanski, Doc, and whoever else wins the job out of camp. It's Clattenburg, it's a Jones, it's someone like that. You're maybe still one more depth piece away. I'd be curious if you have the money to Yeah, you'd be close to actually having the money to do one lower end ad too. So you could bring in a guy on a PTO, bring in a low end free agent, whatever you want to do. But
someone in the chat is talking about O'Reilly. I don't know if it's Sam or Ryan, but it just seems weird to bring up that name right now.
yeah, they're good down the middle. Which again, they're good down the middle, and you could argue that they're good when it comes to their top 4D. Like those are key areas and they have to check off goalie and they need a scoring winger. I get all that, but like, I don't know. I don't come out of the Murphy and Dickinson deals feeling any less optimistic about this Oilers summer.
I don't really feel anything because they haven't done anything to me to like change the team yet, and I think that's what I'm trying to. I'll wait for that to like strongly judge what's happened because I think these two moves that they've made today, yesterday, whatever, they had to happen. But now I think the next steps are a bit of a mystery, I guess you could say. So we'll see. It's now about like what players can you bring in that you don't know about.
Yeah.
And can you actually hit it? They got a lot of new staff in there. We'll see what happens.
Numbers are great today on the show. Shout out to all you guys. Still not winning a cup, Tyler. Canes are too good. Okay.
All right. The Carolina Hurricanes who couldn't do it for so long.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of funny how
things happen. I mean, look at Florida. Babcock gets injured.
Yeah.
And their whole season's derailed. Like, before it even started, like, things are going to happen here. And they might happen negatively to Edmonton, too. But, like, Stanley Cup champion isn't named June 22nd.
No.
It's named... Actually, sometimes it is.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes it is. That was a bad comment.
That made very little sense, actually. I think the cup has been handed out multiple times on that day.
Scratch that.
I get what you're saying, though. Like,
You got to go through the process. We don't know what the Oilers are going to do yet.
We just went through a trade deadline where everyone pointed and laughed at the Hurricanes for being idiots.
Forgetting Nick Delore, who they made like a big deal about him re-signing at the parade the other
Which
day.
was pretty funny.
Hilarious. Played one game.
We awarded the cup to the Avalanche at the deadline.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because they got Kadri.
And then they got swept
And then they got swept.
by the team that added Nick Dowd.
Yeah.
And we won the cup with the summer of Jeff also. So
We
there was
did.
that.
Yeah, true. That was a great.
But
I
to the
love that
point
cup.
about how everyone views Carolina now is that...
The juggernaut. And they're a great team. I'm not discrediting them.
So if the Oilers win the cup next year, we're going to sit there and we're going to be like, the Edmonton Oilers, you want to talk about failure? Did you know they've made the conference finals or better in 33% of Connor McDavid's seasons?
Yeah.
Pretty good, right? Like,
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
winning the one cup changes every narrative about your past. It happened with Ovechkin. How many times has Alexander Ovechkin been out of the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Once. Which is a wild stat.
How many times has Nathan McKinnon won a game past the second round of the Stanley Cup playoff?
One season. Yeah, when they won.
But you win the cup, and every other narrative about you goes away.
Yeah.
And that's fair because that's what
You
we're
win.
doing. If the
Yeah.
goal, if everyone wants to sit there and poke fun at Carolina because they didn't beat anybody good this year, blah blah blah, don't care. Flags fly forever, rings stay in the safe forever, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like a little bit out on like the prospect hugging and all of that. It's more of like a baseball thing than it is maybe necessarily a hockey thing. But when you'll see fans be like, "Oh, Boakey's so I get you need to keep good players, but also Florida's not going to have a first round pick until 2031, and you can go all the way back. Ryan Pike had a tweet. You can go all the way back to like 2020, and Florida has gotten rid of every single one of their first round picks.
Hell yeah.
Here, I'll give you, and listen.
You have to spend them correctly,
So I think,
too.
well, I think that's almost, here's every first round pick for Florida. 2021, they picked Mackie Samoskevich. They traded him on yesterday. 2022, traded for Sam Reinhart. 2023, traded for Ben Sherratt. That did not work.
2 years in a row.
2024, traded for Claude Giroux. That did not work. And then it's traded for Tkachuk, traded for Jones, traded for Marchand, traded for Tkachuk. They're not going to have a first rounder now till 2030. But here's something else they did. When they whiffed on Ben Sherratt and they whiffed on Claude Giroux, they didn't just sit there and go, we need to stop doing that.
Yeah. they
Just
kept
like
going.
Carolina, when they got bounced with Frederik Andersen in multiple conference finals, they weren't like, we need to stop using this guy. They kind of believed in the way they went about it and kept attacking. Just like the Oilers coming off losing in the first round. Is that disappointing? Yeah, that was disappointing. It's disappointing as hell. Everyone's pissed off. But they didn't sit there and go, well, we can't bring back Murphy and Dickinson just for the sake because we need to bring back new guys. Mm-hmm. You trust your process. If you thought in February or March 8th, whenever it was, that Connor Murphy and Jason Dickinson help you win a Stanley Cup, so you gave up quality assets to get them, then you do not let a poor team first round and injuries persuade you from bringing those guys back in June. If you thought 4 months ago those guys help you win, stick with your process, re-sign them. They help you win now.
I completely agree. The other thing, too, that was on Coming in Hot, which, again, you guys should go listen to if you're curious to hear more about this Tkachuk stuff. Mm-hmm. When they traded Erik Karlsson to San Jose, I don't remember exactly the trade. They were talking about it, but one of the picks, which at the time everyone's like, well, that's just going to be the bottom 4 pick in the first round, ended up being Tim Stützle. Yeah. They got the 4th overall pick, so, like, it's interesting that Florida, obviously, they need to keep doing this, but, like, from a Ottawa side of things, like, well, in 2029, we don't really know what Florida's going to be. Who knows? Maybe they have a bunch of injuries again, and they get the next Tim Stützle, whatever it may be. So, yeah, it's interesting. You got to just shoot your shot, I guess.
All right. For our friends at Bet365, the worst thing about hockey season is that at some point every year it ends, sometimes on June 22nd. There's a lot of time between now and the first puck drop next season, which feels like an eternity for those of us used to nightly games. The good news is that Bet365 still has plenty of games, just none that require lacing up your skates. At the Bet365 casino, you can choose between hundreds of slots, live tables, and your favorite games. Well, maybe your second favorite game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. We got footy action.
We got a great day. The Stars will show up today.
Messi already having a good...
Yeah,
His second goal was awesome.
Yeah, that's good. That helped me hit a bet. I'm rider at Messi, 2 goals plus 600.
And he missed a penalty.
No, he set the record for the most goals at a World Cup by a player going to the World Cup, so good for him.
That's insane.
Beat out Miroslav Klose, but did it in more games, I might add. World Cup today, we have at 3 o'clock, France versus Iraq, Norway versus Senegal, Jordan versus Algeria. Ooh. I think we could see an upset in the Senegal game. I think Senegal could win that game. They're plus 210. Okay. But I would look at France here. They're way better than Iraq. They should be able to get a few goals. Their offense is incredible. Mbappe obviously is their main guy, but Michael Olise is legit. He's a star in the making. I'm going to put together a little parlay. I would go France -1. See if you can mix in like plus two or more goals. I think is probably fair. And the one that's been working for me in these games is if you go to other, when you go to the individual games, you can do stuff like win to nil, scoring both halves, win both halves. Try and mix one of those in too. Should be good.
All right, tonight the Toronto Blue Jays are in action. They're facing one of the best arms in baseball in Hunter Brown of the Houston Astros, who's only pitched 3 times this year since coming back from injury, but has only allowed 2 earned runs in 16 1/3 innings. He is very, very good. Jays sending their east to the bump. Dylan Cease, they are -130 favorites in Toronto. Taking on Houston, over-under is set at 7, which is a good chance for me to tell you all that I'm going to be hosting our company's Blue Jays pregame show.
Flight Deck
goes live 1 hour before the Jays game. So it's a 4 o'clock start. It's going to be just me over on the Blue Jays Nation YouTube. So would love to see a bunch of you pop over into the chat, come hang out with me, talk a little bit of baseball. You guys know I'm a big baseball guy. So if you're one of those people who likes on this show when we talk baseball, and you're not one of those people who comments, God, I don't care about baseball, when it's August 14th and you want us to debate who should be on the 4th line, I'm getting off on a tangent here. But anyways, join me on Flight Deck today. 4 o'clock Mountain is when the show will start. Go for about half an hour. Quick preview of everything you need to know about the Blue Jays game. And yeah, we're going to have a good time. I'm doing this whole Houston series. You can join me for all 3 games.
Dylan Holloway is in. Ooh, Blue Jays. Raptors are better. Well, Raptors aren't playing.
Nope.
Dylan.
Nope.
Come on.
What was the point of that comment?
Like, what are we doing? Dylan. Mm-hmm. Come on, buddy. Shouldn't you be golfing with no shoes on?
Okay. Well, that do be a wrap on today's edition of the show.
That's it. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Numbers were awesome. If you're new, we're here every weekday until after free agency. So noon Mountain Time, same show every day. Sometimes we go an hour, sometimes we go an hour and a half, kind of make our own rules. But yeah, join us tomorrow. Enjoy your Monday. Hopefully the rain stops and you can all enjoy some outside time as well. But will we have news by tomorrow? Any Oilers news by tomorrow's show?
Yeah, Babcock.
Yeah, Babcock.
Yeah, tomorrow's probably Babcock Day, everybody.
Gregor had an article, you should read it, but he said, quote, he's flying in later today, as is Stan Bowman.
So that press conference is probably going to happen tomorrow. So get ready for that, everybody. Tomorrow's Babcock Day. I'll put the link to Gregor's article in the YouTube chat so you can all go read it. See you tomorrow. Noon Mountain. Oil up.
Bye.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss